The Lu Emperor attacked, and his sword swept out and severed all of the thin lines. To the north, the male from the celestial demon imperial family attacked and blocked all of the thin lines. Lu Yin relied on the flow channeling diagram to block progenitor Chen's attack, but his body was still sent flying. The force behind the attack had been too great. At that moment, black lines appeared in the void and bound Lu Yin's limbs like ropes, imprisoning him in the void. Lu Yin was shocked. The Wang family's secret technique? Back in the cosmic tree realm, he had been imprisoned by the Wang family's secret technique, and it was exactly the same. Why did progenitor Chen know the Wang family's secret technique? In front of him, a palm image from progenitor Chen's clone slammed towards him. Lu Yin was momentarily dazed, but when he regained his senses, the three forms of his blade intent and Sengoku's punch landed on his body. Lu Yin spat out a mouthful of blood, and the stars behind him revolved as the three forms of his blade intent slashed towards him. Lu Yin's gaze turned cold and his body disappeared. He used his sourcebox array to teleport 1,000 meters away, and progenitor Chen's clone, who was using the reverse step, also appeared with him. Progenitor Chen's clone followed him like a shadow, and his speed was inconceivably fast. He could even break through Lu Yin's true scripture of Yin evolution, which made Lu Yin feel extremely aggrieved. The rest of progenitor Chen's clones charged towards Lu Yin, not giving him any chance to catch his breath. Lu Yin waved his hand and grabbed the clone that was using the reverse step. His body was pulled along, and the scene that he saw caused him to retreat at an extremely fast speed. However, he continued to advance at an extremely fast speed. His body was violently torn apart, and he spat out another mouthful of blood. He flipped his hand over and progenitor Chen's clone suddenly disappeared. The rest of progenitor Chen's clones suddenly stopped, and the clone that was using the reverse step disappeared. In the west, Lan Xian exclaimed, "Profound creation realm star energy control." He threw progenitor Chen's clone into a world of star energy. That clone relies on speed and its ability to break through Lu Yin's battle techniques. Once it's controlled, Lu Yin will be in an invincible position with his runic technology technique. This was equivalent to someone who had gone through 4 tribulations, and it was hard to tell. However, if he broke through his 3 stages again, the increase in strength from breaking through all 3 stages combined with his 4 astral source cyclones would make up for his strength. Again, the Sea King shouted as he charged at Lu Yin. Lu Yin raised a hand to stop him. "Enough, senior. I just wanted to try. I have no intention of fighting you. The threat from the north is still there." The Sea King was furious. "You slapped me and you want to end it like this?" Lu Yin laughed dryly. "Well, I was ambushed by Lan Xian and was heavily injured. I'll fight you after I recover." He then hurriedly left. The Sea King snorted. Lan Xian needed to ambush him? Lu Yin returned to his spacecraft and was greeted by Elder Jioshen, who looked at Lu Yin in amazement. The Sirius sect had been founded with the Sirius art, and the Sirius art had been created by progenitor Qin. Lu Yin had defeated progenitor Qin, who had been an enlighter, right in front of Elder Jioshen. However, the most shocking thing was that progenitor Qin had actually created the Sirius art while still an enlighter. "It's time to upgrade the Sirius art. You should have gained some insights from your fight with progenitor Qin," Elder Jioshin said. Lu Yin nodded and exclaimed, "Progenitor Qin's talent is astonishing. He created the Sirius art as an enlighter, and his control over Sirius art far surpasses mine." "Nonsense." Elder Jioshin rolled his eyes. "Hurry up and upgrade the Sirius art. Once it's upgraded to the peak, return the inheritance to the Sirius sect. This war should be over and the 6th mainland should take over." Lu Yin blinked. "Senior, you want to go back?" "It has nothing to do with me," Elder Jioshin grumbled. They had had enough of being led by the nose by Lu Yin. Unfortunately, the inheritance was beneath Lu Yin's feet. "Please wait a moment, senior. I'll give you an answer soon." Elder Jioshin left. After Elder Jioshin left, Lu Yin had wanted to contact Su Qing. Lu Yin had a complete plan for this war, and it was already in its final stages. The premise was that the Great Eastern Alliance could withstand the early stages of the war. If they could, then the initiative would be in Lu Yin's hands. However, before he could contact Su Qing, Elder Chan called him. "Senior," Lu Yin answered and respectfully greeted. Elder Chan was not in a hurry to speak, and he waited for a while before saying, "Progenitor Qin must have been very difficult to defeat." Lu Yin knew that Elder Chan was contacting him because of his tribulation. It wasn't just Elder Chan, Anyone who knew of his battle with Progenitor Chen would contact him. Progenitor Chen's reputation was too great, and he was the symbol of invincibility in the Fifth Mainland. It was very difficult and I almost lost. Throughout human history, there have been far too few people who have been able to fight against Progenitor Chen. Even those ancient ancestors who have become legends might not have been able to defeat Progenitor Chen. You were able to defeat Progenitor Chen, who was at the same realm as you. That's enough to go down in history, Elder Chan exclaimed. Lu Yin hurriedly replied humbly, Junior was just lucky. Elder Chan smiled. How's the war? Can you withstand it? Lu Yin decisively answered, yes. Elder Chan was astonished. Based on his understanding of Lu Yin, shouldn't he be complaining and then trying to get the Hall of Honor's support? Why was he so straightforward? Do you need support? For example, resources? Elder Chan asked warmly, just like he had before Lu Xiaoshuan's identity had been exposed. Lu Yin could feel that no matter who it was, even Elder Chan, who ruled the Hall of Honor, was a very realistic person. Lu Yin had defeated Progenitor Chen during his tribulation, and once he became an ancestor, he would definitely be invincible in the universe. Welcome aboard. Stay tuned and subscribe to Han Li's Wuxia Adventures for more thrilling content. Chapter 1895. Brute Force panted heavily as his injuries were not light. That amethyst beast was not weak, especially in its amethyst form. If Brute Force had not pulled away, he would have been the one to die. After the amethyst beast's death, Brute Force did not slaughter the other astral beasts. Instead, he landed on a barren planet to avoid battle. Lu Yin took the opportunity to approach the amethyst beast's corpse. With my blood, I appoint a general. Lu Yin was delighted when he saw the amethyst beast's form imprinted on the platform. After appointing this beast, he could summon 4 envoys. If he continued to work hard, he believed that one day he would be able to summon more envoys than the Great Eastern Alliance. That would be truly shocking. With dozens of envoys who could contend against them. We've been discovered, the second Night King said in a low voice. It was that giant. Lu Yin looked towards the barren planet and coincidentally met Brute Force's gaze. Brute Force looked at him in shock, as he had not expected Lu Yin to appear and even appoint an amethyst beast. It was normal to look at the corpses of powerful enemies, especially on the battlefield. He had just happened to see Lu Yin appoint a general. When he saw Lu Yin look over, Brute Force's gaze turned cold and he fired an arrow. The arrow pierced through the void and headed straight for Lu Yin. Lu Yin's eyes narrowed, and his killing intent surged. He had not wanted to attack this fellow, as this was a battlefield between humans and astral beasts. It would not be good to attack a human, but this person had actually tried to kill him. Lu Yin thought back to when the Arrow sect had forced the Temple of Taimo and how this person had attacked him in the Nine Cauldrons space. Furthermore, he could not allow news of his appointment to spread. Lu Yin did not hesitate any longer. Kill? The second Night King looked up and brought Lu Yin to the barren planet. The battlefield between the Sixth Mainland and the Astral Beast domain was massive, and it covered countless planets and even multiple star clusters. 4 envoys, the shockwaves from such a battle were enough to destroy an area that a normal person would never be able to reach in their lifetime. Thus, they usually fought in the Astral Source universe, and the surroundings of any envoy's battlefield were mostly empty. However, with the perception and vision of an envoys, they could survey the entire battlefield. There were some life forms on the barren planet that could survive in the sand. They were shaped like lizards, and the largest of them all was as large as a mountain. When the second Night King in Lu Yin landed, the lizard spat out its tongue towards them. Suddenly, its body froze and then it collapsed to the ground, dead. The next moment, countless smaller lizards rushed over to devour its flesh, a scene that sent chills down everyone's spines. Brute Force saw it as well and his pupils shrank. He looked at Lu Yin, clenched his fists and then knelt down on one knee with his head lowered. The second Night King had wanted to kill Lu Yin, but when he saw this scene he subconsciously stopped and looked at Lu Yin. Lu Yin was flabbergasted. Was this submission? The brute force in front of them had a combat power of over 700,000. Back when he had imprinted the Savage Arrow God, his strength had surpassed that of Zhangzhou. Even if he were to face Lu Qianjue, he would still be able to put up a fight. Now, even without imprinting, his combat power would still surpass Ling Qiu and the Frost Monarch. Regardless of whether he could win, at least his combat power would surpass theirs. How could an emissary with a combat power of over 700,000 submit so easily? What are you trying to say? Behind him, the second Night King distorted the void around them. Welcome aboard. Stay tuned and subscribe to Han Li's Wuxia Adventures for more thrilling content. Chapter 1902. One day later, Lu Yin arrived at the Primal Zone. At this moment, the 6th Mainland Sword Valley Master and the other cultivators were already heading towards the east of the Primal Zone. He wanted to find the planet that had suppressed the mummy and dig out progenitor Wushang's hide. Suddenly, Lu Yin and the second Night King stopped at the same time and looked at each other. They both sensed that something was wrong, as if they were being watched. The second Night King's spiritual force was powerful, and his body was powerful as well, so it was normal for him to be able to sense it. As for Lu Yin, it was purely his intuition. Ever since he had become an emissary, his senses had become much sharper. "Who are you? Come out," he said as he looked around. The second Night King's expression turned solemn. If he had sensed someone at the same time, then there had to be someone there. For someone to be able to avoid being seen by the second Night King meant that their strength was unfathomable. Not too far away, the void distorted and a kind-looking old man walked out. He smiled faintly at Lu Yin, and his eyes were filled with curiosity and admiration. The old man was simple and unadorned, giving people a very comfortable feeling, especially when accompanied by a strange fragrance that made people feel refreshed. This was the fragrance of medicine. "If I'm not wrong, Senior should be one of the 4 sovereigns, the medicine immortal," Lu Yin said respectfully. The elder nodded. "Alliance Master Lu of the Great Eastern Alliance. I've heard a lot about you." Lu Yin was apprehensive. "I wouldn't dare. In front of you I'm just a junior." "Ah, there's no need to be humble. You're the only one in the universe who can sense me, even though you've just become an emissary. Even the Day-Night clan member beside you only sensed me at the same time as you did," the medicine immortal said with a smile. Lu Yin stared at the medicine immortal. No matter how benevolent this person was or how much he praised him, he was still one of the 6th Mainland's 4 sovereigns. The fact that he had not been discovered by the second Night King spoke volumes. The second Night King stared at the medicine immortal. "You must be a half-step progenitor." Lu Yin narrowed his eyes and stared at the immortal alchemist. Medicine immortal smiled. He didn't admit it, but he didn't deny it either. "Alliance leader Lu, rumor has it that you are a direct descendant of the Lu clan and have the talent to appoint generals. Can you show it to me?" "Senior, what do you mean?" "I don't have any other intentions, I was just curious. After all, the general appointment stage's reputation is too great. When I was young I heard about it many times, but I never had the chance to see it. Now, half of my body is in the ground and I don't know when it will be gone, so I wanted to fulfill my wish. I hope Alliance leader Lu doesn't take offense." Lu Yin did not know if the medicine immortal was telling the truth. He glanced at the second Night King, who took a step forward and became even more vigilant. The medicine immortal continued to smile at Lu Yin. He did not show any hostility from the beginning to the end. Lu Yin thought about it for a moment. "Since Senior wants to take a look, then let's take a look." The general appointment platform then appeared in front of him. Seeing the appearance of the general appointment platform, Medicine Immortal's eyes widened as he looked at it in amazement. "This is the Lu family's talent, the general appointment platform that was once known as the one man for an entire country? Is the imprint on it the person who was chosen?" Lu Yin hurriedly put away the platform. "It's just some patterns." He did not have the habit of revealing his trump cards.